Hey, all my hope healers and hope dealers. This is my YouTube channel, my PhD, my prison history diploma. My name's Kim. I did 10 years and 8 months in Florida Department of Corrections, and I've been out for over 15 years. If you've been incarcerated, welcome to the community. We are a tribe. And if you've never been incarcerated, this is a place for you too, because you get to learn how amazing us formerly incarcerated people really are. So today's video is going to be about freedom in the prison system versus freedom in the free world. Yeah, that's what it came to me. I rollerbladed just now for about 15 miles because there's a breeze and it's really nice outside. So I took advantage of the fact that I could go a further distance today. And I was thinking about like what it looked like when I was incarcerated and what kind of freedom I had. So I know y'all are thinking, if you've never been incarcerated, wait, what? You felt free in prison? Yes, I did. And I'm going to explain that to you. So my first 2 years, maybe I felt a little oppressed. I was definitely what people would call I could tell that I was becoming institutionalized. It was just like kind of almost robotic about how I lived my life in there for the first 2 years. There were moments where I allowed, like you guys learned in a previous video, I had been in physical altercations, fist fights, whatever you want to call it. And I guess that was an act of freedom because I was acting on my own free will against the rules. But I want to tell y'all a story about me and my best friend, Lori. Her and I became best friends during our incarceration. And my first fist fight that I got into during my incarceration, it led me into obviously solitary confinement, but it led me to meet my best friend, Lori. And it's a beautiful thing because, me and Lori automatically connected in solitary confinement. So it's in solitary confinement, previously before you get sentenced to the SHU, you can have a bunkie before you get sentenced by classification, your time for your whatever disciplinary you have. And so, me and Lori was in there because she took somebody else's medication and had seizures, and it was unauthorized use of drugs. And when I got put into the room with her, first of all, I got to tell y'all, like, Lori looked nothing like anybody else in the incarcerated arena. She was beautiful. She looked like a Barbie doll. She spoke very eloquently, and she had this beautiful, amazing class about her. And her and I just laughed and laughed and laughed for about a week, because it takes about a week for classification to come, and you have this hearing, and then you get sentenced to the SHU, which is like you typically don't have a bunkie or a roommate. So we laughed for a good week, and we just became best friends. And then she got transferred to a prison that was maximum security with gun towers and everything. And I remember the day before she was getting transferred, she knew she was getting transferred, and I was down in solitary confinement, and Lori walked by and she's like, "Go to Jefferson." And I could hear her telling me where to go. And so I figured out a way, and there's going to be another video about that. But anyway, I figured out a way to get to this maximum security prison to be with my best friend. And I got there. And Kim and Lori, we were tight, man. We were so tight. And she taught me so much. She taught me, like, how to embrace beauty, my own beauty, her beauty, how to embrace, being classy, but, still be yourself. She just taught me so much, and she actually really, really taught me how to be a boss. And I'll probably make another video about that and what that looks like, but really, Lori was such a mentor for me. And she was older than me, and she had a lot more experience of life than me. So I learned a lot from Lori, and I really hope that she finds this video. And I just want you to know, Lori, I love you. I love you. You taught me a lot, and I just want to thank you. So, freedom in prison. So one day, me and Lori were talking, and we said, we were talking about smoking weed in prison. We never smoked weed in there. And I looked at Lori and I said, we'll really know if we're meant to be best friends if we can smoke a joint together and see how we handle it. Can we be on the same level? And literally, what you put into the universe comes to you. And it's beautiful, to learn that during my incarceration. But here's the thing, it took me some time to get to where I'm at as far as fully trusting the universe and fully having faith in God, higher power, energy, whatever you want to call it. Just having that faith that something beautiful has your back. But anyway, so we 2 days later, this girl comes up to me as I'm walking down to the rec field. And she's like, hey, do you want to buy a joint for a box of Pop-Tarts? And I was like, heck yeah, I want to buy that joint. So I ran to commissary, bought the box of Pop-Tarts, and then waited outside of Lori's dorm to, bring Lori the good news. So they let her dorm out. Lori walks up to me, and I was like, just keep walking. Don't be animated, but I'm going to tell you I have a surprise. And she's like, what? And I'm like, hold on, there's too many people around us. And we're walking, and we get out to the rec field, and I said, dude, I have a joint for us. And she's like, what? Now, our rec field at this particular prison was like Yankee Stadium. It was huge. And so Lori and I go to the track, and we're walking, and there's people jogging by us and everything, and we're like, fuck it, we're gonna light it up, because people do smoke their roll-up cigarettes back then. I don't think they're smoking in the system anymore, but back then we could smoke cigarettes. And so we lit our joint, and we're walking, and we smoke half of it, and we didn't feel anything. So we're like, fuck, oops, excuse my language, we're like, this isn't real. So we threw down half the joint, and we went to go sit down and watch Lori's girlfriend play basketball with everybody. And we sat down on the bleachers, and we're watching her girlfriend play basketball. And literally maybe a minute later, I looked at Lori, and Lori looked at me, and Lori goes, oh my God, Kim, I think that's real. My heart's beating really fast. And I was like, oh my God, I know it's real. My heart is beating fast too. So we got up super excited to go and find this half a joint that we threw down. And like I said, people smoke roll-ups in there, so it was a little bit of a challenge. But we knew where we threw it down at. So we're running, and we had a radius, and we were picking up roll-up cigarettes and smelling them. And we finally found our half a joint. And I was like, don't worry, girl, I'll keep this, because Lori had less time than me. And I was like, I'll hold it. That way, if, something goes down, I would never let my best friend get caught. I was 85%, Lori was 65%, so her time mattered more than mine. So I'm like, I'll hold the other half of the joint. And I remember Lori and I we went and laid by the tennis courts, and we laughed and laughed and laughed about the dumbest stuff ever. I remember at one point I was laughing so hard, my hair stuck to my teeth, and I looked at Lori and I go, oh my God, my hair just stuck to my teeth. And she goes, bitch, you would have never said that in a snowstorm. I know you're high. And we laughed so hard. And the reason why I wanted to make this video about okay, so here's what I have to say. After that, Lori and I were like, this is the only way to do time. We've got to smoke weed up in here. And we got to figure out how to make this happen. Like, you know, what can we do to make this happen so we never have to go without, and we don't have to buy any joints for a box of Pop-Tarts, because Pop-Tarts were kind of expensive in there. So we did. We came up with a system. So what I mean by freedom in there is me and Lori, we found our freedom. We found our freedom, and it was, you know, the thing is, we were physically not free, but I was mentally, emotionally, and spiritually free. And I used to tell myself, like, you know, I was very respectful to the COs. I would say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know, I would pick up cigarette butts if they asked me to. But inside my spirit, I was finding myself, and I was finding freedom of the mind. So the reason why I wanted to make this video and talk about freedom out in the free world is because I realized, as I keep going in life, that people can be in prison in the free world, including myself. So, you know, I could be doing right now so many things that the free world people, society, government, whatever you want to call it, deems as the proper way to make money or do things, or, you know, there's just like so many systems set up and so many ways that I could be conditioned out here in the free world, you know, and I can follow a lot of people, the majority, which is fine, you know, and it works for a lot of people, you know, doing the things that's required. And you know, I'm still doing the things that are required. I'm a firm believer in paying bills. I'm a firm believer in pulling my weight in society. But making these YouTube videos may not be the most accepted, because I'm putting my business out there and I'm being vulnerable. But here's where my freedom comes into play. I am not going to let people, society, anything dictate how I should speak my mind and who I should be and how I should perform. I firmly believe, as long as I'm not hurting people as I'm walking through life, and I'm actually helping people, and I'm bringing hope, love, light to the world, then you know what? I am free. Not only am I bringing love, light, and peace into the world, but I'm bringing it to myself. I am more free today because of my incarceration. Because I found a freedom that I didn't even know existed in my incarceration. And I got to take that spirit and that freedom of mind into the free world. And today, I get to live out that freedom in my spirit by making these videos, by talking to you, everybody out there. I get to be free, and I want you to know that if your mind is imprisoning you, there is a freedom waiting for you on the other side. You just have to make up your mind if you want it or not. And it takes work. I didn't just get here by like, oh, I hope I find freedom, and then not do the work. The work for me entailed journaling, learning who I am, getting, you know, to a place where I shake hands with my past and say, you know what, I'm at peace with my past. It didn't happen to me. It happened in my life. I'm not a victim. I'm not even a survivor. I'm a thriver. And so the reason why I'm making this video is because there's so many people that are imprisoned in their own mind. And if you're one of those people that you feel like your mind is imprisoning you, there is a way out. And the way that I found my out was I do 20 minutes of affirmations, and I'm dedicated to that every morning. Whether I look dumb or not, I don't care. I do it in my car while I'm driving, and I yell it out, and I rollerblade for at least anywhere from 6 to 10 miles a day, and I take care of my mind and my body. And that is freedom. And I believe if you're watching this right now, you're looking for that kind of freedom. Start off small. If you got to start off with just 10 minutes of positive affirmation, 2 minutes, if you don't want to say it out loud, but just listen to it, that's fine. But start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere, because there is a freedom waiting for you that only you can find. Nobody's going to teach you how to be free of your mind better than you. And you've got to start today. If you don't start today, tomorrow may not be promised. And every day I think, how would I want to leave this world if I were not to be here later on today? You know what? I want to leave satisfied and happy. And I know you do too. And no matter what's happening in life, I choose, even if it doesn't look on paper like it's the most positive experience, I choose to look at it like, okay, universe, God, higher power, what are you here to teach me today? What can I learn from this? And how can I grow through the experience? And I know that you can grow too. Just like I've grown, you can grow too. I believe in you, and I believe that today can be a new beginning for you. You can start your day over at any time of the day. I love you all. Thank you for being here. And if you found that inner freedom that I'm talking about, drop a comment below. If you're looking for inner freedom and you feel imprisoned in your mind, drop a comment below and ask anybody in this community, how can we help? How can I help you? Because that's what I'm here to do. I am and always will be Kim Live Free, hope dealer and hope healer. And I pray that I'm building a community that is full of hope dealers and hope healers. It takes one candle to light 1,000. Thank you so much for being here. I love all of y'all. Thanks.